Welcome back to The Explainer, Focus Learners. Okay, today we are unpacking something that is genuinely shifting the ground under developers and enterprise architects, the real data behind Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.7. We're going to bypass the hype completely and let the architecture and the numbers tell the true story.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the software engineering leader. Second, the 4 pillars of Opus 4.7. Third, the benchmark breakdown. Fourth, real-world use cases. And finally, pricing, limits, and our verdict.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the software engineering leader. Let's start with a massive hook here, looking at arguably the most critical software engineering benchmark out there right now, SWE Bench Pro. If you're not familiar, this tests an AI's ability to autonomously resolve real-world GitHub issues, and Claude Opus 4.7 scores a staggering 64.3%. That is a solid 6-point lead over GPT 5.5. In the world of end-to-end task completion, a margin like that is absolutely huge.
Now, context is everything, right? Anthropic dropped this model on April 16, 2026. That is exactly 1 week before GPT 5.5 came out. I mean, they've been moving at light speed, 3 releases in just 5 months. But Opus 4.7 is a bit different. It's purpose-built for complex, long-horizon agentic workflows. Think of it less like a quick search engine answering a question and way more like a junior developer who's willing to spend hours hunting down a nasty bug with barely any supervision from you.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 4 pillars of Opus 4.7.
So how exactly are they hitting these numbers? Well, it really boils down to 4 architectural upgrades: output verification, high-resolution vision, adaptive thinking, and multi-session memory. Let's briefly break down how these actually work under the hood.
First up is output verification. Rather than just spitting out an answer and declaring a task complete, Opus 4.7 actually checks its own homework. The team at Vercel even noted that Claude 4.7 actually does proofs on systems code before starting work. For agentic workflows, having an AI that proactively sanity checks itself, that's a total game changer.
Next, we have to talk about high-resolution vision, because this is a massive leap. Opus 4.7 now accepts images up to 3.75 megapixels. That's more than triple the resolution of 4.6. Thanks to this, its ability to analyze really complex diagrams and charts, measured by the Charziva R benchmark, just catapulted from 68.7% to 82.1% in a single update. Then there's adaptive thinking, which is all about taking autonomy to the next level. You know how developers usually have to manually set token budgets to tell the model how hard to think? Well, no more. The model brilliantly figures this out on its own now. Ask it a simple question, it skips the heavy processing and just answers. Hand it a complex code-based bug, though, and it might spend tens of thousands of tokens reasoning through it before writing a single line of code. It literally scales its effort to match the difficulty of your task.
And wrapping up the pillars, we've got multi-session memory. By using an upgraded file system-based memory, the model holds on to context across multiple different sessions. So if you're running a massive code-based refactor that takes days, Opus 4.7 isn't going to just lose the thread and forget what it was doing halfway through.
All right, on to Section 3, the benchmark breakdown.
Let's cut through the noise and impartially look at the hard data. This brilliantly illustrates exactly where these models stand. Claude absolutely dominates in software engineering, financial analysis, multi-tool orchestration, meaning it can juggle a bunch of external APIs at once, and even PhD-level scientific reasoning with GPQA Diamond. But, and this is important, GPT 5.5 still maintains a really distinct lead when it comes to raw terminal command line automation and massive 1 million token long context retrieval.
Okay, Section 4, real-world use cases.
Because numbers on a page are great, but what does this mean for our actual day-to-day work? We're taking those benchmarks and translating them into 4 specific professional domains where Opus 4.7 is hands down the clearest tool of choice. Use case number 1, repository-level software engineering. If you're building coding agents that actually need to produce working pull requests, Claude is your go-to. Developers using the Cursor IDE saw a crazy 12-point jump in Cursor Bench just moving from 4.6 to 4.7. It handles complex GitHub issues and massive code-based refactors with a level of autonomy that makes it an absolute must-have for modern dev teams.
Let's group our next 2, financial analysis and enterprise multi-tool orchestration. Opus 4.7 is basically unmatched at tearing through dense quarterly reports. Plus, if you need enterprise agents to seamlessly coordinate multiple external tools and APIs in one continuous autonomous loop, Claude is the strongest choice right now.
And use case 4 really flexes that incredible vision upgrade we talked about earlier. Having 3.75 megapixel support combined with a 25-point jump in visual navigation means processing dense data visually is actually practical for the first time. You can now run direct UI and UX reviews from full-resolution screenshots, parse the tiny print unscanned legal contracts, or pull data straight from a messy financial chart without having to pre-crop it first.
Bringing us to our final section, Section 5, Pricing, Limits, and our Verdict.
So this all sounds amazing, but what is it going to cost us? Claude Opus 4.7 comes in at $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens. Now, on the surface, that makes Claude 17% cheaper on those crucial output tokens compared to GPT 5.5's $30 rate. But there is a hidden catch here. And the crucial point is that 35% figure. Opus 4.7 ships with a completely new tokenizer. So while the sticker price looks identical to older versions, this new tokenizer can actually inflate token generation by up to 35% for the exact same input text. It's basically using more words to say the exact same thing. If you aren't actively monitoring this, your API bill could quietly creep up on you.
We also have to be real about the limitations here. First off, Anthropic trained 4.7 to follow instructions very literally. So those loose, underspecified prompts used to get away with, they might fail or do something totally weird now. You strictly need tighter prompts. Second, as we touched on earlier, it's lagging 13 points behind GPT 5.5 in pure terminal and CLI tasks. For unattended DevOps pipelines, GPT 5.5 is still superior. And third, that new tokenizer means all your old prompt cache entries are instantly invalidated, which is definitely a migration risk for high-volume users. Okay, let's boil all this down to a highly actionable final checklist. Absolutely use Opus 4.7 if your work involves complex repository-level engineering, financial data, or enterprise agents. But avoid it if you need pure terminal execution, open-source deployment, or fully air-gapped environments. Oh, and a quick tip straight from the source data. To truly master these new capabilities, they highly recommend dedicated training courses, particularly ones focused on AI and finance.
We've covered the benchmarks, the crazy upgrades to vision and agentic autonomy, and those sneaky, hidden tokenizer costs. The capabilities here are literally paradigm-shifting for the right workflows. So, I want to leave you with this thought today as you continue your focused learning journey. Looking at your own systems and workflows right now, are you ready to migrate your production agents to Opus 4.7? Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep learning.